Video games are a unique form of media. They're a mix of almost every art form humans are capable of, whether it's writing, music, film, etc. One of the benefits of this blending of the arts is that the stronger points of your game can sometimes help balance out the parts that might be less so due to practical limitations like manpower or production costs. For instance, with simple gameplay and graphics, but effective story mechanics, characters, and music, one can start an international indie phenomenon that will still be referenced years later, especially if you spend enough time on the video game music parts of YouTube. Or, with a good understanding of human psychology, game design, and a story told by and large through item descriptions, you can spawn an entire genre that publishers and studios will still try to imitate over a decade later. Bandai Namco's speedy third-person anime action game Scarlet Nexus is definitely in this category. If you are or were into anime at any point, Scarlet Nexus's plot is probably nothing you haven't seen before, since it seems to have been made out of shonen Mad Libs. Scarlet Nexus's characters also span the usual assortment of anime archetypes you'd find in such productions. You've got your roguish fellow with a shady past.
It's obvious you're trying to escape from something too.
The scarred and stoic veteran.
I'm old. I'll have to retire soon.
And the childhood friend with a borderline obsessive crush on the protagonist.
Hey, it's not like I think about him all day. I mean, maybe I did up until recently.
In addition, most of the cutscenes in Scarlet Nexus are bordering on voiced PowerPoint presentations, with very few fully animated scenes. This might be due to the budget or time constraints of putting together an impressive combat system, the dual protagonist story, and a full 26-episode season of an anime tie-in to the game at the same time. These limitations to the story and presentation, however, have given Nexus's art team quite a bit of influence over the visual aspects of their game, and this is where the game truly shines. With a post-apocalyptic, holographic, cyberpunk aesthetic.
I can do this.
Try saying that 5 times fast. And the extremely detailed, just plain cool character designs, the art and visuals of Scarlet Nexus become instrumental in telling its players about its setting and characters.
I see you cooked. I just remembered about something I have to do. Would it be okay if I left for a while?
The marketing team used the term brainpunk to describe the style and setting. But the engaging visuals don't end with just an art style choice. Before we go on, since all the fully animated footage from Scarlet Nexus that would be exciting for use in a video tends to be from plot-heavy moments, we should probably slap on a spoiler alert just in case.
Now die!
Not just for Scarlet Nexus's story, but also probably the last 30 years or so of mainstream anime. Alright, now that we've covered for the editor, let's put our hoods up and plug back into the action. Once drawn in by the art, Scarlet Nexus has to connect its players emotionally to this hyper-stylized world of ageless, superpowered teenagers, transhumanist militaries,
Plan A, roll out.
and enemies that look like they belong in Sid's room from Toy Story. The way that Bandai Namco's team accomplishes this is surprisingly simple, though don't let that fool you as to its narrative impact. In short, it's detailed idle animations. Early in the game, your characters acquire a hideout, a place that they will be spending downtime at between the chapters of Scarlet Nexus's story. Though initially feeling like a bland hub world designed to push you back out into the fast-paced combat of the post-apocalypse as quickly as possible, this area becomes extremely important to both the characters and player as the game progresses. Here, you can train on simulated missions, shop, watch TV, and most importantly, chat with your teammates, increasing your bond levels with your pals and unlocking new aspects of their powers. As you wander around your new digs between missions, you'll notice the rest of the platoon around the hideout, either relaxing or interacting with their environment, all to a really catchy, smooth jazz song that somehow never quite gets old. This is good because you'll be hearing it for hours on end. If the combat in Scarlet Nexus brings to mind a lighter, more RPG-ish version of the gameplay from other third-person action games, especially that of Platinum games such as Nier Automata or Astral Chain, the hideout segment is influenced more by games like the Persona series, or any game with the power of friendship mechanic, really.
Our oh, sweet maker. Colin, how's it going?
Aside from hearing what your team is thinking about the current main story objective, you can increase your bond with each team member by giving them gifts.
Thanks.
Not only do the gifts you give appear scattered around the hideout, usually in that particular party member's personal space, but some gifts even have their own character animations to go along with them. Some actions are more general, like sitting on the couch reading a Space Kindle, but some gifts trigger unique animations for the character they're given to. Or poses, in this case. These gifts not only turn the hideout from a sterile, corporate common area into a lived-in home, but many of them add activities and thus more animations to the pool your fellow soldiers can randomly draw from whenever you return. The large number of animations also make trying to capture specific animations later in the game for a video difficult. For an example, give the small-statured Luca a lifetime supply of protein powder, and you'll sometimes find him sitting atop his prodigious pile of protein powder packages, sipping away in the hopes of someday manifesting some muscle. Or give the resident lovesick anime girl trope Hanabi an ab roller and watch her go through the same struggle many of us have when trying to use one. Some of these character animations even include multiple party members, like stoic fightman Gemma adding a round of yoga with the self-appointed team mom, Kyoka, to his endless workout regiment. Or the laid-back Kagero will flail wildly at the awkward Tsugumi about plant care as she does her gardening. This adds even more to the feel of a world of living people, as our heroes not only interact with their environment on their own, but with each other, giving a sense of camaraderie between the members of the team. We latch onto this as human beings since, well, let's face it, if you were in a military unit tasked with fighting brain-eating monsters, government conspiracies, and formulaic anime villains, you'd probably form some kind of bond with your co-workers too. Whether it's Gemma working on his perfect cast, Kyoka practicing her duplication powers, or Arashi demonstrating her main character trait, these little slices of life are not only surprisingly well animated and motion captured, but give our main cast members more dimension to their personalities than just their fighting abilities. Unlike a lot of the game before and even after acquiring the hideout, here Scarlet Nexus indulges in the old saying of show don't tell. We see our heroes at their most relaxed and vulnerable. Their interests, hobbies, and even their flaws and insecurities are all conveyed to us through these motions. This humanizes and endears these blocks of computer code and art direction to us, as most people can relate to having a hobby, a flaw, or at least trying to have more going on in our lives than just our job. These animations can also foreshadow character traits that may not have been revealed in the story yet, all without the long-winded PowerPoint you'll probably get later of why the superstitious Kyoka has an interest in neurology, or the fact that the team tsundere, Shiden, has some insecurities he really needs to work through. These animations might not really be essential to the main story of Scarlet Nexus. Actually, there's no might about it, but there's a surprising amount of detail in them when compared to other points of the game. From the motions themselves to the cloth and hair physics, not something easy to work with at the best of times, it's clear that the dev team put a lot of effort into these movements. Each protagonist also has their own special catalog of gifts for each character, which means that you get to see different animations depending on whether you picked Kasane or Yuito as your playable character. This helps the story feel more tailored to your personal experience if you come back for a New Game Plus run and discover the new gifts and animation options they offer.
Hey, I'm grateful.
Also, the hideout will feel even more cramped than it already was the first time when you find out that your friends have held onto all their gifts between playthroughs. No matter how hectic, confusing, or time travel shenanigans heavy the storyline of Scarlet Nexus gets,
Why are you here? What is going on?
you can always return to the hideout and watch your pals unwind or prepare for future weirdness in their own preferred way.
The Great Unit Space Cup has begun. Kagero and Luca here, bringing you coverage live.
Wait, me?
Within that spectrum we talked about way back at the start, Scarlet Nexus directed its limited resources fully into the thoughtful art direction side. Whatever limitations caused this, Nexus proves that if you put the thought and time into a fun combat system, a striking art style, and compelling visuals that tell and sell the story all on their own, and that make you wish more of the game was fully animated, you can walk away from the game with a pretty memorable and positive experience,
It's nice to hear a compliment from you.
even if you've cringed through a couple of anime tropes, or the number of times the words idiot plot might have come to mind.
I'm serious. Answer me. Yuito.
Dad.
So that's our take on Scarlet Nexus's hideout animations. What do you think? What was your favorite character animation in the hideout? Tell us down below, and in the meantime, follow our new Instagram and our not-so-new Twitter account to keep up with our weird thoughts and the occasional dumb joke. We'll see you in the next one.